Right, okay. We're going to work on core and psoas today. So getting a lot of stuff involved all around, basically from here to here, the most important part of our bodies. So we're actually going to start laid down. Would you please know? So laid down on the floor, arms down by your sides, and the legs out nice and long. Let the feet fall open, tuck the shoulder blades underneath the body, and just completely relax for a moment. If you've got any active sciatica or lower back pain, bring the feet to the floor and let the knees fall in. Otherwise, keep the legs out long and keep the legs relaxed. And just have a moment to check in with how you feel this evening. How you feel emotionally, or how you feel in the body, whichever you choose, maybe a bit of both. Noticing any tight spots, noticing maybe any areas where you might be holding a bit of stress. And then bringing the awareness to the breath. Maybe bring one hand to the belly and one hand to the chest. And just notice how the breath is moving your body this evening. Not trying to change it to start with, just noticing. Noticing in the chest, in the belly, in the ribs. Noticing how much they move. Notice where the breath is coming in and out of the body, whether that be your mouth or your nose. Notice the temperature of the breath. Notice if the temperature changes on the inhale versus the exhale. And then gradually start to deepen the breath. Inhaling for 1, 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. In. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Out. 2, 3, 4. Hold. 2, 3, 4. Excellent. Let the breath come back to normal. Bring the feet to the mat so your knees are pointing up towards the ceiling. If you're comfortable to get your feet really close to your hips, then try and get them as close that you can almost tickle them with your fingertips. Then starting with the hands down by our hips, we're going to gently peel our spine up off the mat and then roll it back down again. So really starting with the tailbone and then curling the spine up. Really reaching up through the hips, squeezing the glutes together. And then as you exhale, rolling that spine back down to the mat, bone by bone, tailbone last. Inhale as we lift up, curl that tailbone up, and then bone by bone up the back. Really reach those hips up, squeeze the glutes. Then exhale, roll that spine all the way back down to the ground again. Really moving slowly, bone by bone, tailbone last. Then bringing the arms in, inhaling as the arms go up, the hips go up, the spine reaches up. Really squeeze those glutes at the top, get those hips nice and high. And then exhale. Slowly bring the arms back down by the sides, rolling the spine back down, bone by bone, tailbone last. Inhale as we go up. Really squeezing the core, squeezing the inner thighs towards one another, squeezing the glutes, lifting the hips. And then exhaling, rolling that spine gently back down to the floor, bone by bone. Arms come down, tailbone last. One more. Inhale as we go up, squeeze the inner thighs together, arms up above the head. Really squeeze the glutes at the top, squeeze the inner thighs again, pull the core in, and then exhale as we roll down, bone by bone, nice and slowly. And then come back down, so the arms are down by your sides. Stretching the legs out long, just going to give that core a gentle massage. So the first thing we're going to do is bring the right knee in, put the hands over the top of the shin and interlace the fingers, and then relax the head back down onto the ground. We're going to really pull this knee in towards the right armpit. So you're not pulling it into your belly, you're pulling it out to the side and in towards the armpit. Then flex the left foot. So the right foot is relaxed, the left foot is flexed. So the leg long on the ground is really engaged, keeping the left sit bone down towards the mat. Pull that knee in one more time, using your arm strength, squeezing the shoulder blades behind your body. And then release. The right leg really activates the ascending colon, so great for massaging the deep internal muscles. Moving to the left side now. So really squeezing the left leg. The left toes should be nice and relaxed, right toes flexed, right leg engaged. Then pull that knee in towards the left armpit. Really squeezing the shoulders behind you, really feeling the blood caught in the hip flexor on this side. Really let the left toe be loose, the right leg really engaged and long. Nice big inhale here. On the exhale, release that leg out long and release the arms. Then the next one, we're going to squeeze both knees in. So this time, we're going to reach up and over the legs. You might be able to clasp hands, you might be able to clasp wrists, you might be able to clasp elbows. Wherever you clasp, come back down onto your mat and then squeeze the knees in towards the belly. And we're trying to get the majority of the spine on the floor as we're doing this squeeze. So use the arms to pull the knees in. Really try and entice the tailbone down towards the floor. Make sure the lower back is on the floor, the middle back, the upper back. Really squeeze a little bit tighter and then completely relax. Take the legs out long, take the arms up above your head and have a full body stretch. Really maybe arching the back off the floor as you stretch your fingertips up and you stretch your toes away from you. And then bring the arms back down, hug the knees into the chest again. Right hand on right knee, left hand on left knee, and circle through the knees. So you're getting a little massage into the hips and the lower back. Excellent. And then take those circles in the opposite direction. Good. And then taking the feet back down onto the ground, take the legs out long. We're going to shift our shoulders over to the left. And then we're also going to walk our heels over to the left. So we make like a banana shape. We want to try and ensure that both of our hips are still level. So if you'll end up with your bum off the floor like this, then don't go so deep, come back a bit, because we want both bum cheeks on the floor. Then if you can, raise our arms up over the top of your head and just relax in this banana shape for a second. Whilst we're laid here, really breathe into these right ribs. We're really expanding through the rib cage. And as you exhale, try and relax everything into the ground, almost doing a mental body scan of the heels, back to the knees, back of the pelvis, backs of the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the elbows, back to the hands and the wrists, everything relaxing down to the ground. Nice big inhale here and another exhale to really relax everything into the mat. Then wiggle your shoulders back to center, walk your feet back to center, and then wiggle your shoulders over towards the right hand side and wiggle your feet over to the right hand side. And again, just check in and make sure that both of the sit bones, the back of the pelvis is flat on the mat and you're not lifting. Really make sure that both the shoulders are engaged with the ground, and you should just be feeling a nice stretch down the left hand side of your body now. So nice big inhales into the ribs, stretching those arms above your head. As you inhale, really send the breath to any tight spots. And as you exhale, relax everything onto the mat. Inhale nice and deeply, and as you exhale, notice all those parts of your body in contact with the ground. The heel, the calf, back of the knee, back of the pelvis, the shoulders, shoulder blades, elbows, wrists, back of the hand. Everything completely relaxed. Excellent. And come back to the center. Wiggle yourself back to the center. And then we're going to come up to seated. You can either roll over onto your side and come up to seated, or you can rock and roll up to seated. I like to rock and roll because it's fun. And then either coming into a cross-legged position, if that's comfortable on your hips. If that's not comfortable on your hips, then take the feet out straight in front of you so that we're in a like a forward fold position. Well, that's not what it's called, is it? I've lost my words this evening. Seated. Seated. Whether you've got your legs out long or your legs in crossed legs, it doesn't matter, whatever's most comfortable for you. Okay, we're just going to start by moving through the side body. As we move through the side body, really think about these deep muscles within your core. So all of the psoas muscle, which is the deepest core muscle, actually connects from the inside of the lower part of your spine right through to the inner thighs. So as we're moving, really think about the movement, even though you can't feel that muscle because it's so deep, think about the movement coming from that muscle. So we're going to take a nice big inhale. As we exhale, we're going to drop the left hand to the floor and then reach over with the right arm, keeping that armpit open to the ceiling. Take a nice big inhale here. As you exhale, pull that core muscle in and come up to center. Take a nice big inhale. Then as you exhale, go over to the other side. Again, really opening up that armpit to the ceiling and really stretching through those top fingers towards wherever is in your room that way. Whatever is in your room over that side. Excellent. Take a nice big inhale, pull that core in and then exhale back through center. You can do one more each side. So nice big inhale at center, exhale, over we go. Really opening that shoulder to the ceiling, really thinking about those deep core muscles. Nice big inhale here. On the exhale, pull those core muscles in and come up through center. Nice big inhale. Exhale over to the other side. Beautiful. Nice big inhale here, really keeping that armpit open to the ceiling. Pull the core muscles in and then exhale, come back up to center. Excellent stuff. Okay, this time we're going to take our right hand, put it underneath the right sit bone. And then we'll just literally sit up nice and tall and take your head over to the other side. And you should feel a really nice stretch down the side of the neck. So really think about grounding down through that right hand, through that right sit bone, to really enjoy the stretch all the way up into our neck. And then once we've relaxed in that position, just gently take your chin further down towards your chest and feel how the stretch moves into the back of the neck. Excellent. Bring the head back up to center, release that hand, and then take the other hand and put that underneath the left sit bone. Really grounding down through that sit bone, sitting up nice and tall, and then take the head over towards the right. And just notice how one side differs from the other. You'll probably find that whichever is your dominant hand is your tighter side. Nice big inhales here. Really keeping that left shoulder down, so we're really getting the stretch down the side of the neck. And then after a couple of breaths in this position, take the chin down towards the chest and feel how the stretch moves towards the back of the neck. Beautiful. Coming back up to center, release the hand, and we're going to come up to standing and do a bit of some faster movement. If you can, try and get up without using your hands. So, coming to the front of the mat, we'll just do a couple of flows. So take a nice big inhale and stretch those arms up above your head. Squeeze the inner thighs towards one another to really engage the core, and then exhale as you come all the way down into forward fold. Let the head hang heavy and bend the knees. Then inhale into a halfway lift, nice long back, nice long neck, and then exhale, bend the knees, come down again into a forward fold. Step back with the left leg, and then ground down through the feet. If it's more within your practice, you'll drop the heel. Feel free to drop the heel on the back leg. I prefer to stay on the balls of my toes, but whichever suits you best. Checking in at the knees above the ankle, pull the core in, squeeze the inner thighs, and inhale the arms up above our head. So we want to keep a nice bend in our front leg. Really squeeze the inner thighs towards one another so that we have our balance. We're then going to drop the right hand to the right knee and reach over towards the right. So if I'm going straight forwards towards you, oh, that was a bit slippy, I'm in this kind of position. So I'm really stretching out down the left side of the body, the left hip flexor and the left psoas muscle. Excellent. Then we're going to bring that hand back up above us, the other arm up above us. Take a nice big inhale, really reaching through the fingertips. Exhale, bring the hands to heart center. Inhale, really straighten out through the front leg. And then exhale, sink back down into warrior one legs. Inhale, straighten that front leg. Exhale, sink back down. One more, inhale, nice long legs. Exhale, sink back down. Really good, guys. Inhale, float the arms up. And then exhale, bring them down to framed front foot and step back to plank. If plank is too much for you, bring the knees down towards the floor. That's absolutely fine. And then whichever one you've decided, If you've got knees down, bring your chest and your chin to the floor. If you're in plank, keeping the elbows close to the body, come down through chaturanga. If you've done knees, chest, chin, come into cobra. If you did chaturanga, come into upward facing dog. Really good stuff. Exhale, come back down to the mat, tuck the toes, take the hips back towards the heels, and then take those hips up towards the ceiling into downward facing dog. So it's our first downward dog of the day, so just let's have a little bit of a check-in. Make sure the fingers are spread nice and wide and that your wrist creases are in line with the front of the mat. Take your shoulders towards your thighs so you have a nice long line from the wrists all the way up the back to the sit bones. The back your knees can be bent, it doesn't matter. It's more important to have a bit of flexibility and elasticity in your top half. Doesn't matter whether you're on your tippy toes or whether you've got your heels down. That will depend on how flexible and how long your hamstrings and your calves are. Have a little wiggle and a jiggle here. So maybe pad through the feet. Maybe you feel like wiggling through the hips or taking the chest further towards the thighs or maybe elbows towards the floor. Wherever you feel you need to move this evening, just have a little wiggle and a jiggle. Good. Then float the left leg up behind you. Bring that leg forwards and place it between the hands. If it doesn't quite get there, just pull it through. And then take your preferred position of your back foot. So you can either have the heel down or stay on your toes, whichever suits you best. Really make sure the front knee is above the ankle and then inhale the arms up above your head. This time, we're going to bring these hands together. If that's too much of a struggle, you can also just have your hands on your elbows instead of your hands straight up above your head. Pull the inner thighs in, really pull the core in, and then lean over towards the left. This one's like an upgrade from the last one we did. So we're really having to squeeze the inner thighs together to stay strong. Really pulling the core in to stay strong. One more breath here. Excellent. And then come back up to center. Take a nice big inhale, stretch up through the hands. Exhale, bring the hands forward and bring the body forwards. Really strong in the legs, really strong in the core. Inhale the arms up. Exhale, bring the hands forward. Inhale the arms up, squeeze those inner thighs together. Exhale the hands forward. Good. Inhale the arms up. This time, exhale, float them back down to the ground. Take a bend in the back knee and step forwards into forward fold. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Bend the knees and inhale all the way up to the top. Really focusing on that core. Exhale, bring the hands back to heart center. Good. Now we're going to do the other side. So first of all, inhale those arms up. Squeeze the inner thighs together. Squeeze the core. Exhale, bending the knees, fold all the way forwards. Inhale as you come up into a halfway lift, long back, long neck. Exhale, fold forwards. This time, take the right leg back. Find your grounding first. So either drop the heel or stay on your toes, whichever you prefer. Make sure this front knee is above the ankle before you move up. Really squeeze those inner thighs together, pull in the core, then inhale up into crescent lunge, stroke warrior one. This time, we take the left elbow to the left knee and then reach over to the right with the right hand and the right fingertips. So we're really getting a stretch down the right hand side of the body and into the psoas. If this is too wobbly, you can always bring that knee to the floor, exactly the same stretch. So take your preferred option. Nice big inhale here. On the exhale, pull the core in and gently come back up. So for this one, either hands up straight, holding your hands together, or you can hold elbows if it's too much on your shoulders to be in this position. So take your preference, then inhale, straighten that front knee, exhale, sink back into warrior legs. Inhale to straighten, exhale to sink. Inhale to straighten, exhale to sink. Good. Inhale those fingers up, exhale, float the hands all the way back down to the mat. Then step the front leg back into plank. Either knees, chest, chin and into cobra, or bring the elbows close to your body, come down to chaturanga and into upward facing. Whether in cobra or upward facing, really stretch the chest forward. Really feel the lengthening down the front of the body. And then exhale back down to the mat, tuck the toes, take the hips back towards the heels, and then up into downward facing dog. Couple of breaths here. And you can always be in child's pose if this is too much to be in downward facing dog. Then float that right leg up behind you. Bring it forwards, giving it a little tug if you need to. Make sure that the knee's above the ankle. Take your preferred position of the back foot. Pull the core in, pull the inner thighs towards one another, and then inhale the arms up above our head. Have a little check-in that you can still see your toes in front of your knee, because that makes sure that your knee's not jutting too far forwards. Make sure the legs are really strong. Pull the inner thighs towards one another. Really engage those deep core muscles. If you can hold your hands, otherwise hold your elbows. And then move your whole body over towards the right. So this time getting the stretch down the left-hand side of your body. Really pulling those core muscles in. Really grounding down through the feet. Keep breathing. Nice big inhale here. And then exhale, come back up to center. Inhale, really stretch the fingers up to the ceiling. Exhale, bring the arms down in line with your body and take the shoulders forwards. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, come forwards. Inhale, arms up, really squeeze those inner thighs together. Exhale, come forwards. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, float the hands back down to the mat. Bend the back knee and step forwards. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold, bend the knees. Inhale, really using your core and squeezing those inner thighs together. Come all the way up to the top. And then exhale, hands back to heart center. Excellent. We're going to turn around towards the side of our mat, so the long side of our mats. And take a nice big step, so we're nice and wide. To start with, we're going to have our toes pointing out towards the front corners of our mat. So they're like at a 45-degree angle. And then bend down into the knees. And just have a stretch out through goddess. So bringing one shoulder into the middle and then really pushing that knee away, then the other shoulder. Really feeling the stretch down the side body that we've just used quite extensively in those other stretches. Good. Then coming back to center, then straighten up through the legs and come into a side lunge on one side. Now, this could be different for everybody. You might just come onto your knees. So you might literally go from side to side with your hands on your knees. If that's you, that's absolutely fine. You can keep your feet on the floor, or you can lift the toes of the long leg. It just moves the stretch from the kind of front adductors. If you lift the heel, it moves it more towards the back of the leg and more into the hamstring. So it's up to you, whichever option. If you want to go a bit deeper than that, then you can come down, put your hands on the floor and literally walk it out from one side to the other. Again, either
feet down or feet up, whichever feels best. You can hold your ankles and go from side to side if that's within your practice. Or you can come all the way down with your hands and then all the way down on the other side. So whichever suits you best. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Inhaling up, exhaling down. So we're really stretching out those inner thighs that we've just been squeezing for the last couple of practices. Inhaling up through center, exhaling down. Really getting into those inner thigh muscles, those adductors. Going all the way down into the knee, hopefully that stretch, onto the inside of the knee. Moving as slowly or as quickly as feels good for you today. Excellent. One more each side. Good. Okay, coming up to center. We're going to step back towards the front of our mats and do the next flow. I'm just moving back a little so you can see me properly. Okay, inhaling the arms up. Exhaling the hands to heart center. Slightly different this time. We're going to inhale the left leg up. And to start with, just have a couple of breaths here. So really focusing on the balance, so really pulling all those muscles in around the waist, really pulling those in and up, but also thinking about that deep core muscle again, and thinking about squeezing the inner thighs towards one another. Nice big inhale. On the exhale, we're going to really pull those muscles in again, tilt the body forward, and as we tilt the body forward, we bring the leg into flamingo pose. That's what I call it anyway, because it looks like a flamingo. Then from here, if you need some more support, you can bring your hands down to the floor or hang on to something local to you, or you can go straight and stretch that back leg out. If you're happy with your hands to stay at heart center, then stay at heart center. Really, really squeezing all the muscles around the leg and continuing to think about pulling this core in and also squeezing those inner thighs together, which will give you stability. Nice big inhale. On the exhale, bend the front knee, float the back leg down. So, with the back leg down on the mat, we've basically come into warrior two legs. Sorry if I lost you. Okay, so keeping that nice bend in the front leg. This time we've got the outside edge of the back foot parallel to the edge of the mat, and we're taking the arms out into warrior two. Have a little check in with the front knee. Make sure that with your front knee you can see your toes over it, and also make sure your knee's not rolling too far in or too far out. Your knee should roughly be in line front of your kneecap with your second toe. So just have a little check in on that. Remember, rest if you need to rest. We're just going to have a couple of breaths in warrior two. Looking out over the front fingers, really pulling those core muscles in, making sure that your shoulders are directly above your hips. Nice bend in that front leg. One more inhale here. And then on the exhale, windmill the hands around to frame the front foot. Spin on the back foot so you come onto your toes, and then step back to plank. If you're doing knees, chest, chin, bring the knees, the chest and the chin to the floor and roll through to cobra. If you're doing chaturanga, then obviously come through to up dog. Nice big inhale here, really stretching the chest forward. Feel the lengthening down the front side of the body. Exhale, the shoulders back down to the mat. Tuck the toes. Take the hips back towards the heels. Maybe have a breath here. And then continue the hips up and into downward facing dog.
So this time, we're going to take the left leg up behind us, bend it at the knee, and then open that hip up towards the ceiling. This gives you a really big stretch through the psoas muscle. So you're almost thinking about trying to touch your toes over your back towards your right shoulder. Check in with the shoulders and make sure that they're reasonably parallel and you haven't completely opened to one side. And we'll just have a couple of breaths here. Good. And keeping that bend in the knee, bring the hips back to neutral and then do 3 circles with that leg, as big circles as you can do. And then take those circles in the other direction. Really, really big circles. Excellent. And then once those circles are done, you can either put the foot down and do a step or a hop or a jump to the front of your mat, or you can step the left leg forwards and then step the right leg forwards, whichever suits your practice best. Inhale into a halfway lift. Exhale, fold forwards. Bend the knees and inhale nice and slowly, really pulling that core in, really squeezing those inner thighs together, all the way up to the top. And then exhale the hands back to heart center. Then we're going to do the other side. So inhaling the arms up first. And then exhaling, bending the knees, coming all the way down to forward fold. Inhaling into a nice halfway lift, long back, long neck. Exhale, hands down to the mat, step back with the right leg. I've done it differently this side, haven't I? I've got completely confused. Let's come back. Thought I was doing something wrong. Right, feet together, standing at the front of your mat. I completely forgot the balance. So inhale the arms up to the top. Exhale, hands to heart center. And then because we're doing psoas, we're going to pull all of this core muscle in. We're going to squeeze the inner thighs together and then we're going to lift one leg. Thanks for bearing with me. Really squeeze the inner thighs towards one another. Have a couple of breaths here. Really being strong. Stronger the inner muscles of your body are, the easier all of these poses are. So really think about squeezing those inner thighs together. Take a nice big inhale. And then as we exhale, we're going to come into flamingo. Really staying strong. Squeeze those inner thighs together once more. Pull that core in as well once more. And then take the hands to the floor if you need to. Otherwise, just stretch that leg back nice and long. Really engage the muscles so that the muscles are holding on tight around your bones. Make sure that the right hip is low and it hasn't popped up. So your hips are in neutral. Then take a nice big inhale, bend the front knee, and then gently float back into warrior two legs. And then we can bring our arms out into warrior two. So having our little check-ins. So your front knee is going to be above your ankle. Make sure you can see your toes in front of your knee. And make sure your knee's not rolling in or rolling out. So your kneecap should be in line with your second toe. Then really ground down through the feet. Really make those legs strong. So our hips are facing out towards the sides and our arms are in warrior two. Really stretching out through the fingers. We're just going to have a couple of breaths in warrior two. Relax the shoulders down. Really stretch out through those fingers. If I came around and pressed on your arms, they wouldn't move. They're really strong. And then keeping that core really strong, windmill the hands to frame the front foot. Twist on the back foot so you come onto your tiptoes and then step that front foot back. Either bring your knees, your chest and your chin to the floor or come down through chaturanga and then into cobra or up dog.
Either one, really stretch that chest forward so you feel the stretch down the front of the body. If you're in up dog, make sure the legs are engaged, then knees pop up off the floor. Exhale, come back down to the mat, tuck the toes, and then take the hips back and up into downward facing. Float the right leg up behind you, take a bend in the knee, and then open the hip. Again, checking in with the shoulders to make sure they're still reasonably level. Really stretch through the psoas on this side. So you're trying to get those right toes to go all the way over your back and tickle your left shoulder. Really stretching. Back leg, you can either be on tiptoes or you can encourage your heel down towards the floor, wherever you feel the stretch best. And then nice big circles into that hip. 3 big circles one way, and then 3 big circles in the other direction. And then either bring that foot through to meet the front foot, the front hands, or put both feet down, look forwards, take a nice bend in the knees, and jump lightly forwards, landing like a cat. Inhale into a halfway lift, and then exhale, fold forwards. Then bend the knees a lot and inhale all the way up to the top, squeezing those inner thighs together, squeezing the core in, all the way up. Hands back to heart center as you exhale. Excellent. Thanks for sticking with me through my moment of madness. Okay, we're going to go down onto the floor again. So ideally, we want to get down there into a seated position without using our hands. If you need to use your hands, then by all means do. If you have any problems with your knees, then obviously don't put extra strain on your knees. And just get down into a seated position on the floor, however you would normally move there. If your knees are healthy and you're up for a challenge, squeeze the inner thighs together, make sure the knees are together, really engage the core, take a nice big inhale, and on your exhale, slowly go all the way down to the crouching position, and then gently take your knees to the floor. Excellent. Then you can untuck your toes, and you can bring them round to the side, and you can roll all the way back again. Back onto the floor. Okay, to start with, we're going to take the left leg up to the sky, and then we're going to cross it over the right leg. So your legs are now in figure 4. And then squeeze the right knee in so the right foot comes off the floor. And then squeeze the core muscles in and reach through and try and hold on somewhere. So either hold on to the back of the thigh, or if you've got more space, you can hold on over the chin, whatever feels more comfortable for you. And then try to relax the shoulders and the head back down onto the mat. I find in this one, if I rock from side to side, it just gives me a little bit of space and makes everything a little bit more comfortable. You can also get more of a stretch if you need it by pressing your elbow onto the left leg. Take a nice, big, deep breath here. And then on the exhale, try and squeeze everything in a little bit more. Another nice, big inhale. And then on the exhale, try and squeeze it in a little bit more. One more. Nice, big inhale as you release off a little bit. And then exhale, squeeze it in a little bit more. Good. Unclasp the hands and release the leg. Put the right toes back down. Uncross your legs. Put the left toes back down. Take the right toes up to the ceiling. And then bring the right foot across the knee. And squeeze those legs in. So lifting the left foot up off the floor. Then reach your hands through. Clasp around behind the thigh or over the shin, whatever's most comfortable. Maybe do a bit of rocking on this side. And then relax the shoulders and the head back down onto the floor if you haven't already.
And take a nice big inhale. Exhale, try and squeeze those legs in a little bit more. If you need more of a stretch, press your elbow onto the inner thigh of the right leg. Nice big inhale. Exhale, see if you can squeeze it in a little bit more. Nice big inhale. Exhale, see if you can squeeze it in a little bit more. Excellent. Release the leg. Take the left toes down to the floor. Stretch up with the right foot and then take the right toes down to the floor. Moving from here, do whatever wiggling you need to do, whether you feel like you need to do a bit of a stretch side to side or whether you feel like you need to stretch the arms up above your head. And then the next position we're coming into is happy baby. So take the feet up towards the ceiling and then bend the knees towards your armpits. And then try lift up the top half of your torso, pulling the core in order to do so, and then grab on to whatever bit you can. It might be the outsides of your feet, you might be more comfortable on the insides of your feet or over your toes. Some people prefer to do it by hanging onto their ankles. Whatever makes sense to you. You're trying to get your knees as close to your armpits as you can, and then also relax the spine down as much as you can. And then maybe rock and roll about a little bit here. This is a really deep stretch on the hips that's also really restorative for the lower back. Good. Couple more breaths in happy baby. And release the feet. And if you're up for a bit of fun, do a bit of a rock and a roll, and a rock and a roll, and a rock and a roll. And we're going to come all the way up, place the hands, and jump back to a downward facing dog. Or just wiggle your way into a downward facing dog, whichever you prefer. I can see some feet flying through the air, so there's definitely some rock and rolling going on out there. Well done. Okay, so you're going to go from downward facing dog. Gently floating the left leg up behind you. Bring it forward so the left knee comes to the left wrist. Place the foot down, place the knee down, and moving into pigeon. This might be slightly too much if you have any issues with your knees. So if you have any issues with your knees, you can instead sit on, just sit up with one leg out straight and one knee out to the side and just gently push that knee down. You get the same stretch in the hip, and it's just not quite so strong on the knee. So take your preferred option. And just have a couple of breaths here. Really trying to release that left leg. Wherever there's tight spots left in that leg, see if you can release them. If you've got knobbly knees like me as well, you can always come onto the toes of the back foot to give your back knee a bit of a space. It's uncomfortable for me to have my foot out flat. So again, play around to see what works for you. And then whichever variety you're in, whether you're sat with one leg bent or whether you're in pigeon, the straight leg is going to come up and over into a seated twist. So it's exactly the same if you were sat up with one knee out, just bring the straight leg up and over. And then we're going to turn towards the top knee and just give that knee a hug and twist through the back to look over the right shoulder. And take a couple of breaths here. On the inhales, really think about lengthening through the spine, so really sitting up tall. And on the exhale, see if you can twist a little more. And then take a nice big inhale, and on the exhale, come back to center and just stretch out to twist in the other direction slightly. Then come back to the middle. And I know everybody loves this. So keeping the feet in their positions, although you will pivot on them, we're going to go round towards the left. We're going to come up onto the toes. Keep turning, pivoting on those toes, but keeping the feet in the same position. I'm going to land magically in the seated twist on the other side. Go on, you know you can do it. So all the way around into a twist on the other side. So now you should have your left leg on the top and you should have your right leg on the bottom. And then hug into that leg. So we're twisting now round towards the left. Inhaling to really extend the spine. Exhaling to twist. Inhaling to really extend up through the spine. And then exhaling to see if we can twist a little more. A nice big inhale to really lengthen through the spine. Exhale, twist. And then come back to center. This time the top leg is then going to go up and over and round the back to come into pigeon with the right leg forwards, or if you were doing the seated version, then it just literally comes up and over into the seated version. If you're doing the seated version, remember, just do a gentle press down on that knee to get a nice stretch through the hip. If you're doing pigeon, try and keep the hips so that they're facing forwards. Use your hands on the mat to support and really stay upright so you can feel the nice stretch down the hip flexor and hopefully some sort of stretch somewhere around here. Nice big inhale into any tight spots and then exhale, release down onto the mat. Inhale into any tight spots and then exhale, release down onto the mat. Beautiful. And then whichever position you're in, we're going to start with the people in pigeon. Roll onto your bum and then bring both legs round in front of you. If you've just got your leg out to the side, then just bring both legs straight. And then really ground down through your sit bones so you feel really, really secure on the floor. Really engage the legs and flex the feet so that your legs are really, really strong. Take the arms straight out in front of you. Do a nice big inhale and then exhale, keeping the back nice and long. Pivot from the hips until you can't move any further. Then bring the hands down to wherever they land and just take a couple of breaths in that shape, really stretching out through a long back. Keeping those legs engaged, keeping the feet flexed. Nice big inhale. And then on the exhale, relax everything down, curling around through the back, taking the head towards your knees. On your next inhale, curl bone by bone, gently pulling that core in all the way up until the spine is stacked. Take the hands straight out from your shoulders and then gently pulling the core in. We're going to roll all the way down to the floor. So really squeeze those inner thighs together to help give you strength. Really slowly, when it gets hard, squeeze it in a little bit more. And then gently relax everything down onto the mat. into final savasana. So let the feet fall open. Make sure the tailbone is tucked under and it's nice and comfortable. Any lower back pain or active sciatica, bring the feet to the floor and let the knees drop in. Tuck the shoulder blades underneath the body. Let the arms be completely relaxed, palms up, and gently close the eyes. First, bringing your awareness back to your breath. Just noticing the quality of the breath, how deeply you're breathing, how smoothly you're breathing, where the breath moves your body. As you watch the breath coming in and out of your body, feel yourself relaxing onto the mat. Feel the weight of gravity pressing you into the mat, where the parts of your body meet the ground, the heels, the calves, backs of the thighs, back of the pelvis, the middle back, the upper back, the shoulder blades, the shoulders, the backs of the hands, the elbows, upper arms, back of the head. Everything completely relaxed, totally supported by the mat. So gently bring the awareness back to your body and the room that you're laid in. Maybe just wiggle the fingers or wiggle the toes, maybe both. Roll the head over to one side and then roll the head over to the other side. Move the body in whatever way it wants to move, whether you need to circle through some joints or stretch out or hug the knees in. And then when you're ready, come up to seated. And we'll just do 3 breaths to finish off. So the final 3 breaths will just be in through the nose and out through the mouth. Okay, all together then, in through the nose.
Relaxing my shoulders down the back. Thanks for coming to practice with me this morning, this evening even.